So I'm sure we all remember the first time you saw a magic trick, right? Doesn't matter if it was an uncle who found the coin behind your ear, or that friend who somehow or other took a card, signed it and put it in your back pocket, right? It doesn't matter if it's that street magician who could levitate suddenly, or one guy who suddenly can make a plane disappear, right? You all remember that feeling or not, of being enthralled, of just being, amazed by these people. So with all these other shows like Breaking the Magician's Code, with the advent of short form content and YouTube, right? Some people might think that the magic that Illusionist brings is not there anymore.
Okay.
But here I am talking with someone who is going to bring that magic back into our lives. So we have Anslem Roy with us, an illusionist. So Anslem, how's it going? How are you?
Good, man. Good.
Hey, thanks for making it for the show.
Hey, not at all. My pleasure.
All right. Hey, guys, welcome to another episode of Find the Real, where I believe everybody has a story. It doesn't matter what you do or what your career path is. I believe that everyone has an interesting story. And I'm on this quest, this path, to find those interesting stories for your entertainment pleasure. And hopefully you get inspired and these stories better your life. Right?
That's a good aim.
Yeah, so today we are with you, Anslem Roy. We're going to talk a little bit about your journey in the art of magic,
okay,
right? What you are doing right now. A little bit about your background as well, how you grew up, what were you doing before magic. And today, a little bit special lah. I heard we might be giving away some magic show tickets. Is that true?
Absolutely right.
All right, how many tickets are we giving away today?
One ticket to our show, because it's a very small theater, only 100 people. So we can afford to give away one ticket.
All right.
And, I leave that to you to...
All right, guys. So, exciting times, right? For the first time in my podcast, I'm giving something away, right? So, you guys have a chance to get one ticket for the show that's happening on the
29th of July.
On the 29th of July. We'll talk about the show a little bit later, but all of you have a chance to win one ticket. All you got to do is comment later on either Instagram, on YouTube, or you can just drop me an email as well. And just tell me, why do you want to go to this magic show? Why, right? Best answers will get those tickets. So, before we start, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and how you grew up?
Okay. I started magic doing magic when I was 11 years old. How I got into magic was I did very well in my standard 6 exams.
Very well.
I mean, like, I got straight A's.
All right.
Both my parents are teachers.
Okay.
So I got a little bit of leeway to do something. And I couldn't figure out exactly what I wanted to do. So, those days the Malay Mail newspaper was a good source and we used to subscribe to it. So I was flipping through the paper and I saw this ad for a clown. Not an ad, it was an article on a clown. I looked at it and said, do I want to be a clown? I don't think so. Flipped it over and there was this ads for bands and stuff,
Okay.
And it was the entertainment section, obviously. So I looked at it and I said, music. I like music, but could get pretty competitive. No edge. So I flipped the page, and there was this magician who was performing at the Federal Hotel in Jalan Bukit Bintang.
Wow.
So I was like, that's something different. And not many people do it. So I wrote to the reporter who actually wrote that article, Sweden Montero. He's passed on now. And he got in touch with the magician and got his business card and mailed it to me. So I'm just after standard 6, and I get a letter in the post box. Very excited, open it up, and there's Sweden saying, "Hey, I contacted the magician, and he said he would love to meet you, and here is his card. His name was Zach." So I'm like, okay, totally forgot about it. And one day while I'm in school, this guy in this purple satin shirt, white guy, comes up to a classroom and asks the teacher, "Can I speak to Anslem?" The teacher goes, "Who's this dude?" And she calls me up to her and she goes, "You know this guy?" I said, "No." So, okay, she drags me along outside and he says, "Hey, I'm Zach, the magician." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I know this guy. So he said, "Hey, why don't you come on over that weekend?"
Wait a minute. He came to your school
in St. John's.
Are you joking?
No.
You wrote a letter, right?
To the reporter.
Who then got contact this Zach magician fella, and he came to your school.
So he got brother director's permission and walked in, and there I was. So I said, okay, I'll see you on Saturday. So Saturday, ambil bus lah. Went to, those days it was Malacca Street.
Okay.
And I didn't know how to get a Federal Hotel. So I walked all the way to Jalan Bukit Bintang.
From St. John?
From Jalan Ampang.
Okay.
All the way. And then got there and never been in a hotel before. So I'm like, I look in and I see the front desk and I'm like, oh dear, how do I get in to his room? So he's given me his room number. So I wait until the front desk is like almost clear and I bolt in, go to the lift, go upstairs. And those days, Federal Hotel, Jalan Bukit Bintang is a funky reputation.
Oh, yes.
And my parents are all conservative people, so I was like, So the lift opens and this musty smell comes out of the corridors. I'm like, damn. So walk up to the door, knock the door, and then he opens the door. And I see he comes out and he's wearing his shorts and the whole room is a friggin' mess. Absolute mess. I'm sorry I'm using these words.
No, it's fine. Trying to keep it PG-13,
Yeah. And it was a mess. I mean, a mess. So he said, hey, come sit down. So started talking and chatting. And then he taught me one trick.
Okay, first trick.
One trick. I was expecting like the whole world would open and I'd learn magic about it. No, he just taught me one trick. And then when he finished, he said, the next time a magician comes in, you show him this trick and you say, I taught you this trick. I'm like, okay, so that was it. An hour and a half later, I walked out of the hotel with just one trick in my hand. Went back home and practiced that trick, doing it every day. Almost like, I think the first time I was like an hour a day, just literally doing it everywhere I was, in school, in the bus. It was a coin trick. And I had to learn the slide, to make it perfect. So I did that. And the next person to come in was another magician. I went, got to see him. I showed him that trick and I said, Zach taught me this trick. And he said, oh, here's another trick. And he taught me another one more trick. So I'm like, I could go old and gray before I learned magic. So went back home, practiced that trick. Then the third time it was in Hotel Equatorial.
Okay.
This guy was performing for Lufthansa. So he did the corporate show, and then I went up to him and I said, hey, I would like to. These are the two tricks I learned. And then he said, okay, come on, I'll teach you one more. So he taught me one more right there and then. And he said, come on Saturday for breakfast and make it into a routine. I had no idea what a routine was. So I said, sorry, what's a routine? He said, no, to make it like a story. I said, oh, okay. So I went back home, actually wrote a story. Once upon a time, 3 tricks.
Wait, you're telling me that this journey is so serendipitous, right?
Yeah.
You go in, you met this Zach guy who came to your school, taught you one trick, you went to another magic show, learned another trick, went to another magic show. So magicians back then, they were just like into giving knowledge just like that.
No. I'll explain to you why. So I come back on Saturday and he's having breakfast. He said, come join me for breakfast. I got no money in my pocket lah. Takut nanti kena bayar kan. So I said, no, I've had breakfast and stuff. So he finishes his breakfast and he says, okay, show me the routine. So I went once upon a time and I did the trick and stuff like that. He just had a big smile on his face. So when I finished, he said, yeah, technically it's all there, but when I said a story, I didn't mean a once upon a time story. I just needed you to link the tricks so that they flowed from one to the another. And then he gave me the name of a book and where I could buy it from. And that's when it opened up the doors. Now the reason this was done then, because we didn't have internet, we didn't have video cassettes, nothing. So it was all books. And the reason they do it that way, and even now I think even I do it that way, is that because if I teach you one trick and you go back home and you really practice that trick and you come back, it shows that you're really interested. You're not interested just to I want to learn one trick, go and impress my girlfriend, that kind of stuff. So those who are really interested in magic take the time, the effort and the discipline to go through this process. So I learned that from young, that this is the way it needs to be done. Then when the book arrived, mom lent the money because it was in 15 pounds or something like that, and shipping got to wait for 3 months. CEC mail, man, I tell you, just opened up the whole world. And that's how I first started. So I started doing learning manipulation magic, sleight of hand, because that was the route at that point in time. I didn't have to spend much money but I learned the hard. After spending about 3 years doing it, I learned the hard way that Malaysians really didn't care for sleight of hand. Yeah, I was in. By which time I had gotten to make friends with other magicians and stuff like that. So one of them was performing at the Hilton.
So at this point, you're still in high school, right?
I am still in secondary school. Yeah.
Okay.
Form 3.
So in high school, you've learned all this. This book has come along.
Yeah.
It ignited your passion a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
more. Have you started shows at this point in your time?
Not yet. Oh no. My first show was in Form 2. Was it Form 2? Yeah.
Before the book came or after the book came?
Oh, way after the book came.
Okay.
Form 2. It was for a birthday party. Who the brother, as in teacher, they were St. John's, they were brothers.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
so
yeah.
the brothers, brother Conleth, his friend was having his birthday party for his daughter in next to Raintree Club or one of those houses.
Okay.
So he came over and by which time RTM had already done some interviews about this kid who was doing magic and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So this had spread.
But where were you doing your magic though prior to this?
They came to the school and recorded it, next to the fountain. So, so when I did, and it got $50 for the first show.
Wow.
Photocopied it, kept it, But and then years later, I went and checked it, photocopy all faded because those days it was thermal photocopy.
Cannot tahan,
Cannot tahan. So that was my first show. Yeah. Then so I started growing up. Sorry, I was saying. So I went to see the show in Hilton. And Sudirman was on the menu,
No.
and my friend James Tong was on the menu. So Sudirman did one half. Everybody, and I think it was for BAT, Malaysian Tobacco Company.
MTC,
not
MTC,
MTC,
yes.
BAT, MTC. So then James Tong comes up, and he does a brilliant. He's a very good manipulator.
Okay.
He did a multiplying billiard ball trick.
Okay.
At the end of the routine, he had 12 balls like this, right? Nobody cared. They looked at the first ball, second ball, and then it was back to eating the food.
Oh, yikes.
So then I stood back and I learned a lesson, and that is Malaysians don't care for sleight of hand. I see you can make one ball appear, you can make two balls appear. So big level is no big deal. So when the MC says, James Tong, give a big round of applause. He has a smattering of applause and he goes on. Then Sudirman comes back on and they are right into it as well. So lesson learned. So that day I stopped after 3 years of doing manipulation and sleight of hand. I just said, waste of time. So I switched to illusions.
Okay.
So that's when I started building illusions and stuff. So I had my very first big illusion show in 1979 at the Changkat Pavilion, which is right next to the Stadium Negara, which is no more there anyway. It was for Warner Brothers, and we made superheroes appear, 4 of them. Batman, Wonder Woman, Robin, and Spider-Man in the show. So,
wow. It's a team of people or just you?
Just me.
Okay.
Just me, yeah. That time I got people all so
one man show lah.
One man show, and then all my illusions and all. My mom helped me build in the kitchen, that kind of stuff.
That is so cute, right?
Yeah.
It is DIY culture. So needless to say, the family support was definitely there from day one.
Not for my dad, my mom, yeah.
Okay.
My mom was there. My dad was like, yeah, okay, as long as you don't, screw up in your studies, you're okay.
So for them, they looked at it as a hobby and not really a career in that sense.
Who would want their son to be a career? Indian parents want their son to be. They want doctor,
lawyer, either one.
And I was like, I loved bio. I'd score in biology.
Oh.
So I had my head screwed on for medicine and stuff. So when I did my Form 6, I didn't get enough
credits.
I didn't make the grade to walk into the local universities.
Okay.
Which really frustrated me. But I got a place for Toronto Medical and I think it was Madras State. But Madras State, you had to pay a lot of under the table money.
Yikes.
And then Canada, I realized that I would need to fork out $10,000 just cost of living, excluding all of that stuff. And my parents couldn't afford it.
Being teachers, right?
Yeah. So I decided, no, I will continue doing magic and go and work as a clerk and see what happens.
How did this news?
Yeah.
How did you break this to you? I mean, how did their parents
I
take
remember
this news?
sitting on my mom's sewing machine looking out the window and going, all right, got to tell them, man. Got to tell them. So I walked in and they were both there and I said, I've decided that I'm not going to do medicine anymore. And my dad was like, no expression whatsoever. My mom like, and then what are you going to do? I said, I will work lah. Maybe get a job as a clerk. So bank was a big time. You get a job as a clerk in a bank, you were like set.
Even without tertiary education at this point in time.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was already Form 6. So,
Okay.
But no tertiary. And my mom said, "What will the neighbors say?"
So Asian parent, right? That's the first thing. What would the neighbors say? What would Auntie Velu say?
I was ready. They're not going to put rice in my bowl, right?
Well said, lah, Chief.
Prepare, boy. Prepare.
Well done, lah.
So anyway, so then I started work. Then 8 came the 8 most horrible months of my life.
Okay.
No work. No work at all. I used to write 3 letters of application every day, and nothing. I had people. I had a 1 for GP, and I had pretty good grades except for math and stuff. NST wouldn't hire me because of I have to hire this particular person for proofreader. He blatantly said, "You know what? You're the most qualified for the job, but I can't give you the job."
Aiyo.
So like that lah. It went round. Finally, ended up going to work for Esso and the oil rigs for 3 months and all of that stuff. Then came back and.
Oh, you worked offshore?
Oh yeah, 3 months.
What were you doing in offshore?
Engine room.
So it's physical hard work.
It was crazy work lah. And alone, you're only one guy in the engine room on shift rotation. But it's good life lah. Enjoy that. And came back and stuff. And then I worked for a stock shares conscripting company. Then I moved into a Swedish industrial engineering firm, doing stock control and stuff. And that's when my career started growing in magic. Because I had money I could invest in. I could get more shows and stuff.
So whilst you're doing all these jobs, you were still doing your magic hustle on the side.
Yes, but mainly birthday parties.
Okay, yeah. not corporate events.
Not the really big corporate events, but the birthday parties. Very lucrative market, but it wasn't what I really wanted to do because Illusions doesn't fit into the kids. You can't. So
at that point in time, right, what kind of tricks were in your bag, or what were the kind of tricks that kids went crazy?
Anything. The main thing about kids is audience management.
Okay.
Now it's really difficult with the current discipline that the kids have.
The short form content, TikTok, and all that.
No,
right?
No. It's just discipline. They don't have the discipline, and the parents. The kid walks up to you and pulls your stuff and whatever, and they think it's a big joke. Whereas in those days, if you said no, it would be no. And the parents, excuse me, could you? And the parents would come. Sort the kid out. So it's very different now.
Yeah, the way we're raising kids is very different.
Very different. So those days it was okay. Then at one point I realized if I wanted to be an illusionist, I can't do for kids. My brand will suffer.
Okay.
So I made the hard decision. It was very lucrative. I was the most expensive kids entertainer
at that point in time.
I had worked myself up to that point, and I would charge $500 a show, and people would still hire me.
Back then,
it was mainly because I knew how to. I learned how to manage the kids, how to and get them involved, and where the dramatic effects in the theater. Magic is all about theater. It's not about the props.
So it's not only about the trick. It's getting them to the trick. It's how do you attract attention, hold the audience attention, and and the big finish, I assume.
It's a manipulation of the audience.
Yeah.
It's actually, that's what it is. And many people think, I go to a magic store, I buy tricks, I can. No. Which is why YouTube fails in magic. If you watch YouTube, I would say very safely 95 to 98% of it is just nonsense. It's people trying to show off that they can do a trick. So if you turn off the sound, you will still understand how the trick is executed. But if I were to do a trick with you, I would walk in with a story, and I will engage you with that story because now you're going. I need to hook on to what you're saying because it's not about the trick. So while I'm doing that, I'm establishing my personality. And then when I show you the trick, I don't present it as a trick. I say, hey, like for example, if I had a rubber band, I say, Malaysian rubber is really flexible these days, and then he lets you go into a rubber band trick, and then he goes, you're showing me magic trick, huh? By which point, he already likes you.
You build that rapport.
You build a rapport, you have a relationship with the guy, then you crack jokes and stuff like that. Okay lah, that kind of thing. Whereas, if you don't have that sort of an approach and you go in with the training like, can I show you magic trick, huh? Immediately you get this, I don't want to be fooled.
Yeah.
So now you're going to make me a fool, is it?
There's that perception.
There's a resistance, So it's psychology as well going into it. So we kind of deviated, but So I stopped the kids market and concentrated on doing illusion shows. It was tough because you had to get your own transport, you got to get people down. But after the first show in 1979, it really took off.
So this is something a little bit interesting, right? You're speaking about the different types of magic. We spoke about something called the manipulator, then the sleight of hand fella, and the illusionist, right?
Okay. If you want to get into the subject of magic, here we go. There are different categories of magic.
Okay.
One is close-up magic.
Okay.
Which unfortunately David Blaine came up and called it street magic.
Okay.
Street magic is actually pretty derogatory.
Oh, it is?
It is. Because when you say street magic, you're like a busker, DVD seller. I come and show you trick lah.
Okay.
But if I'm a close-up magician, and this is something that I've inculcated in the club that I set up, you have to be better dressed than your audience. So when you approach somebody out of the cold and you say, and then you start your patter and trying to engage them, they now have a respect because you're dressed better, you're accessorized better, your hands are all clean and nice and stuff, and they're willing to stand and watch you. Whereas you approach a guy like a DVD seller and here I show you a card trick, you're dead.
Just like the show. My first guest wearing sports jacket to my show. Thank you very much.
So it's that sort of psychological approach. So that's close up, close up, and then you get one stage higher, which is parlor magic.
Okay.
Parlor is when you have when you perform what used to be called parlor. Now that we don't have parlors anymore. It's like if I came to your living room and you had a large living room and you had maybe anything from 15 people.
Like a kids party?
No.
Oh, okay.
For adults.
Okay.
I'm talking categories first, and then of course you have the kids, the adults and stuff. So if you had that sort of a party, then I come in, I set up a table, and I engage with this 15 or 20 or 30 people. This is very close. I mean, it can be in a function room in a hotel, but not a ballroom setup. So a parlor.
Okay.
No big illusions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we go from there into what we call cabaret, which doesn't exist, or nightclub kind of magic.
Show dance.
Not yet. It's like when you perform on a stage in let's say in Zouk or in that sort of an environment.
Got it.
Now you have the those days we didn't have that lah. We only had
Ta-da!
So those days we also had strip clubs. So in between the strippers
in this country.
Eastern Hotel, Pertama Cabaret.
Those were the days lah.
Yeah. I grew up through all that. So in between the strip acts, you're going up there, and we had to impress your audience that our multiplying balls were better than their tits.
So now that would have been a challenge.
That's a challenge.
You thought going after Sudirman was tough.
So that's cabaret. Then after that, you get to stage magic.
Okay.
Stage magic is when you actually perform on a stage for a larger audience, and that's my specialty. It's like a stand-up comic, but I stand up and I do get into interactive magic. And so that kind of stuff.
Interactive magic.
Yeah. Then you broaden that a little bit and you include illusions in the stage magic shows.
Got it.
So that's illusions, and then we do the mega illusions.
Okay.
Like what I've worked on before, like making buildings.
The superheroes appear.
No. That's corporate side.
Okay.
This is like with our general lay audiences. So like I worked with Franz Ferrari, who is actually physically owns the largest illusion show on the planet, and even bigger than Copperfield. Yeah. So when he travels, I used to be his production manager.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah. So we worked on projects like making the London Bridge disappear, the Sphinx in Egypt disappear, a Russian space shuttle, and all that kind of crazy stuff.
Okay.
So that's in the mega illusion side, like David Copperfield and his
making the plane disappear. Everyone remembers that, right?
Or the Statue of Liberty, that sort of stuff. So that's in the mega illusion area.
Okay.
And that is usually though we think it's live, it's actually for TV because the audience is to get the kind of funding to do that kind of illusions on that scale is very expensive. So it's usually a TV station or a TV production house that buys into this and then include that in. So that's the category.
So you're saying that where you specialize in is the stage illusions.
Stage upwards, and then with that I also do corporate shows.
Okay.
The corporate shows comes in a little later, but it's we get that, and then to go back. Sorry, can I just go back to your question?
Yeah. So here you made that
types.
Types.
So you have the categories of magic, and then you have the different types of magic. Ball magic, ring magic, rope magic, silk magic. And so now you try to figure out where you are in this whole scheme of things. Bring this in, and then try to create your own routine. Got it.
Yeah. So it can be a combination of ring, silk, cards.
As long as you routine it.
The story you have to follow the bouncing ball.
Correct.
Right?
You can cut it short. If your presentation script is the overriding factor, then you can bring in different kinds of stuff.
All right.
Because that's the string that holds the whole show together. But if you just go in and do tricks, I've just seen one trick and now I've got to rewind my brain and rewire it to the next thing because the tempo is different. So we all one of the things that we as performers need to know is the rhythm. We need to know the rhythm. First and foremost, we need to know our own rhythm, because your rhythm is different from mine in speech patterns, in terms of movements. So once we recognize our speech patterns, our rhythm, then we know how to work the music in, the movements, all of that comes in. So it's theater. It really is, and it's in a different form.
All right.
Yeah.
So here you are, making that tough decision where I'm going to stop the kids' shows. I'm going to focus on my illusion. So what happened next?
Okay. I was in a quandary because how do I sell myself?
Because here you're making a comfortable 500 ringgit per show, and right now you're just...
I'm saying enough is enough.
All right.
I was working in the Swedish industrial engineering firm, and suddenly I get a call from out of the blue from an agency production manager.
Okay.
And she says, hey, Anslem, you're the magician, right? I said, yeah. Can I come over and see you? I said, yeah. I said, you're in Whisper Central, right? I said, yeah. And like in 30 minutes, this woman breezes into this room. Gorgeous woman dressed in white flouncy stuff. And then she walks up to me and she starts chatting with me. And my manager's going like, what the heck is going on? So I go outside and she says, we want you to come for an audition, no? And I said, yeah, for what? He says, never mind, you just come lah. So can you go up now? I said, now?
I got a job there.
Yeah. He said, no, you come now. I'll talk to your manager now. So she went in and she spoke to the manager, and he said, okay. I think he was more taken up by the fact that this gorgeous woman asking for this rather than me taking the rest of the day off.
That was the slide.
That was a slide of mine and the eyes. And so got into the cab, went to the agency, and I was actually being auditioned for an account which they were pitching for. I can't tell you what it is.
Okay.
And they needed an ambassador. A mascot sort of ambassador.
Okay.
So I did. I walked in and it was just like people all around with some really well-known personalities in there and stuff. Okay. So I did I would like grab. I always carry some tricks in my hand, so I had my pockets were stuffed with little stuff. Wondering what. And I'm sitting in the cab going, okay, I can do this trick and I can do this trick. Didn't have to do a single thing. Came outside, sat outside for a while, and about 20 minutes later, they came. Okay, you're it.
So this wasn't magic related?
It was.
But you didn't have to show a trick though?
I didn't have to show a trick at the audition.
Got it.
Yeah, so she came out and she said, yeah, you're the guy, that's it. And
you're the guy.
We decided, the big boss has said yes, and you're the guy. I said, okay, fine. So I got into it. Then I realized what advertising was. So my first introduction, I never thought about advertising as an industry until that point.
Okay.
So then I started thinking, maybe I can use advertising to sell my magic.
Got it.
Wow. Okay.
Makes sense.
So I got in, and I was involved in that business, and later on I joined that company, as an account executive.
So you were a talent. you became an ambassador for a brand, and suddenly you said, "Hey, I joined your company lah."
No. They called me and said, "Hey, why don't you join our company?" Because I was working on one of the PR events, and when I finished it, I went to collect my salary, and the boss said, "Hey, why don't you join us?" I said, "I have no qualifications at all." So don't worry, you have the aptitude for it, and I think you'll make a good. So I said, "But I'm already making so." I was at that point. I was working at the Hotel Paddock, Hilton, the old Hilton on the 30th floor at Paddock.
Okay.
I was doing close-up walk around magic there in the night. And I said, "Look, I'm already earning X amount of dollars, and if I come in here, I can." Don't talk to me about this. Go and talk to the finance guy about this. So he was like, so I went into the finance guy, and the finance guy looks at me and said, "You know what? I can't afford to pay you that much money. Maybe we can play." I said, "Okay lah. Here's the deal. As long as I can still do my magic,
okay,
and it doesn't compromise my work, I work for you lah. But you must pay me,
X amount.
What you're paying. You cannot use that against me." He said, "Yeah, okay. So settle lah." So joined. Went in and stayed there for 12 years.
But the world of advertising, because I was a brand manager and I worked with my agencies.
Yeah.
Where got you finished at 7 o'clock at night?
Never did. Never did. I wasn't married that time. My girlfriend would come, who is now my wife. She would sit for hours waiting downstairs for me. But those were the days. But the thing was, I worked for 5 agencies, and my deal with all of them was I had to do my magic.
Okay,
it's like you going and playing golf. For me, that's magic. However, if there's any time that you think that I'm not giving the job what it requires, I need you to tell me right there and then. Don't wait until review time and say, "Oh, you're spending too much time in the magic." I think that's being unfair to me. And it worked out fine.
And I'm assuming that conversation never happened. You were still delivering on what needs to be delivered.
Yeah, I work like a dog, literally delivering everything, but learning about the industry because it was an exciting industry.
What did you like about the advertising industry?
The fact that you could change minds.
Yeah.
I worked on the McDonald's account, and we changed the eating habits of this country. I mean, I personally can say that I am responsible
for making us fat.
Yeah, because the only ones that were around then were A&W and KFC. Okay. They used to tease me like they would say I would ketchup in my veins because you live the life.
That's a good one, dude. That's a good one.
You live the life, but at the same time, I learned applying the magic principles, the ad principles in magic.
So now this is where it gets interesting.
So what happened was when they had product launches, I would pitch to the account and I would say, "Look, I can make this." See, there are only 2 ways to launch a product. You either unveil it or you make it appear. There's no other way. You want to make it appear? I'm the guy. So that worked for you to an extent. To a great extent, because when I walked in, I was speaking their language. I wasn't a magician coming in from outside.
You're a marketeer.
Yeah, I understand. So I always ask for a brief. I want to stuff. So then I would redesign that's when I also learned how to redesign props to fit the brand.
Got it.
All of that stuff. So, like for example, I've done work for Mercedes-Benz. I've done work for BMW. I've done work for NASA. I've done work for Land Rover.
Assuming making the car just appear or something like that. Yeah.
No. You don't want to make a car disappear during a launch. You want to make it appear. So there we go. But at the end of the day, a car appears. But the production around it is all about the brand, the imaging about the brand. Like BMW, it's all about technology. Yeah. Mercedes is, it's all different. Land Rover is adventure. So that kind of stuff. So when you start doing it that way, then the client begins to realize, hey, this is just not an ordinary magician now.
He gets the brief.
He gets the brief, and those clients that appreciate that, then they are very open to this.
Okay.
But nowadays I find clients very reluctant to release the brief. I've walked out. I learned, thank God, a long time ago to say no. It's very painful, but you say no. Walk away from clients who are just dogged about doing it their way.
Yeah, they just want their brand communication out there. I want the product to be the king,
No, product is always the king. In fact, I have done shows where I don't appear. I choreograph the show. The product at the end of the day is a hero. But you want to do it in your... Okay, I always say this. You are the salesman for the brand. You're good at selling the brand. Great. Now let me launch the brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
it's-
Leave that to you.
Yeah, leave that because I know what works, and and they don't trust us because also because of our own industry. There are people that have gone in there and just tried to emulate what I've done and done it wrongly, and therefore it doesn't work.
So at this juncture in your life, right? You're mentioning you're doing the close-up magician shows, right?
That was finished. No more already.
So that means now you're already focused onto illusions and corporate. So this is where you found your stride, right? I mean, now in terms of the competency level, right? How did you go from close-up magician to right now you're doing illusions on a big scale? Like how did you build that capability within those years?
I think you grow into it.
Oh,
yeah, because once you start, you say, okay, like for example, when we did, Petronas.
Okay.
We launched the Petronas motorbike racing, bike racing team.
Okay.
They had a launch at Hilton. I had to deal with audiovisual, where their logo, and then. So I said, okay, since you're going this and you're going to go through an expense, have this turn into a star and come to it, and I'll pick the star off it, and I'll have the star in my hand, and I'll come up and do something with it, and that grows into the bike. Now this is close up, I mean, in its purest form.
Yeah.
So I had to now marry both. So you don't really give it up, but you kind of look for ways in which your previous skills can be married into.
Got it.
The routine, because at the end of the day, it's the routine that's the most important. It's the choreography.
Is that how you stay relevant as well? Because here's the thing, right? As we move on year, right? The topics of the day are different. The trends of the day are different. Like how do you stay relevant or keep up to date with like what's latest in the magic world?
I think magic world. I've been doing it for so long. There's nothing that really phases me anymore.
Okay.
I'm actually I'm known to be fearless. I've been told that I'm fearless. Because the word impossible doesn't exist in my vocab.
Well done, lad. This is like a Nike ad,
Yeah, it doesn't. You say you want to make a bus appear. Can. Now I back engineer that. So I ask the client, where is this bus going to appear in? Let's say he says in a stadium. Oh. Okay. Now, are you going to have the stadium full surrounded, or are you going to have a section, have it sectioned off? Is there going to be a stage? Are you going to drive it in? I then go back from. I've got a bus appearing, but I now go back and figure out what the elements are around it.
And you share what are things that can be done, can't be done,
Correct.
How it should be done.
And of course, there's sometimes when you say, "Look, it's impossible,"
Okay.
And then they go, "Oh, no, don't worry. We like the idea, but we can try to." So now it becomes a discussion, and most of the time, once clients like the idea of using magic, they are hooked. And it's just a question of coming to an agreement at the table. Like the other thing, is like when I travel, I also do work for bands, concerts, and all. I've done work for Dongbang Zingi in Korea, TVXQ, right, the boy band. So we did the Rainbow concert, and I designed illusions to fit their show. I didn't perform. So, we did, I think, about 6 illusions. I mean, massive stage, massive budgets.
What goes on through your mind, right, when it comes to the designing, the thinking, the
Firstly,
conceptualizing?
I said, okay, give me the list of songs that you're doing.
Okay.
And it's all in Korean.
Google Translate lah.
No. I need you to explain to me what happens.
Okay.
And so when they do it, I'm a pretty good body language reader. I've groomed myself that way. And I understand. I get their emotion when the singer says, "Oh, I broke up with my girlfriend, so we did this song, and so I wrote this song about that time, and there was pain and stuff." So okay. So now I know I have a story, and now the question is, how do I weave it into the story? So what I did for this guy was, he would be sitting in a set where there was a tree on stairs, and he was like. The song starts and the whole crowd goes crazy because they already know the song, right? And they go, "Oh," and stuff. And then he looks up and then he picks a flower. And then he leaves the flower down on next to him. And then he takes off his coat and drops it down and the girl appears. Okay? And then now he goes into a dance with this girl. And then finally, the girl disappears. I can't go too much detail because a lot of it is.
So the artist,
Yeah.
he knows what is
Oh, yeah,
happening.
yeah, yeah.
So they know the trick, how the trick happens.
NDA lah.
Okay, got it.
Okay, everybody from the top down, everybody signs an NDA.
Okay.
Because if you see it's more important for them to understand the NDA. Because if the secret is busted, the show fails.
They lose that mysticism already.
I mean, the fact that they pumped in so much money
Got it.
running it, so it's a financial decision, so everybody, like, even when they go into the meeting, if you haven't signed an NDA, they tell you to get out of the room. I mean, it's that strict. And then at the end of the day, he picks up the flower and he starts doing this, and from his hand, it's a huge confetti shower of red petals that goes up into the stadium.
From his hand.
From his hand. He just does this, and the whole, and I tell you, the rapturous applause that they get, it's just amazing.
I love magic lah.
We did 6 of those in that show, and at the end of it, I think they all went on a platform, goes up, boom, they all disappeared, in midair. So that's, I mean, like for example, we did PGL 3 here, Trigunan Lerang, the musical, and all the special effects was all magic. But you would never say that, it was a magic trick.
It's an illusion.
No, if you were caught up in looking out for the magic, then I have failed. Because the story has to be so, the effects have to be so interwoven into the story that it just happens. Like the Putri turns into a witch. How come? And the witches appear here, disappear here, and that kind of, how come? But it makes I think PGL 2 used theatrical stuff, like she would walk behind the tree and the witch would come out. My one, no, she just stands there, she holds up a scarf and boom, bada bang, that's it, done. So we used pyro and lighting and stuff, and it was very good. And so I think we did about 9 different effects, and the Bidan also had a special routine for herself and stuff. So that's what we do. I mean, we as in Mila, I go in, I come up with the thing, and then it becomes a team effort.
So, I mean, what I like is when I hear this conversation, right? I'm not kidding.
No.
I see the passion coming out through every pore. Like you love what you do.
Yep.
And 20. How many years are we talking about?
Good Lord.
Oh, since you were
40,
11, right?
Yeah. So that would be about almost 5 decades. 5 decades. Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to talk about his age, but about there,
About that 5 decades. Yeah.
So, I mean, in these 5 decades, right? Like you've done so many things. You've done everything from birthday parties to literally transforming a princess to a witch, right?
Yeah.
Korean concerts, nonetheless. What stands out the most as like one of the key memories or your biggest achievement you feel in field of magic or illusions? If you can have one thing,
No, it's very difficult because they all have different objectives.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, when I walk away from a show, I need to know that the audience felt what I wanted to deliver. Okay, this is being sounds egotistical, but it's not. They feel the story stronger than if they had just witnessed a regular theatrical play, for example. Like when I do product launches, I always get into trouble with the agency because the agencies go, "Oh no, we need to see the effect." No, because we need to approve it. I said, "No, you already know."
Yeah, if you see the effect, you lose it. So
correct. So I said, and there's one particular one. In fact, at the one that I mentioned earlier, the Petronas. Oh no, my CEO must see. I basically said no. He can come in. I'll show him the start. We'll play all the music. I'll explain the effect, and then go away. Because when it actually happens, I want him to go, "You saw or not?" rather than him going there, "Hey, watch out, the next thing."
Clear.
And then so you don't want to lose that. So
it's very
magic is all about that moment of wonder.
Yeah.
To recreate that. When maybe it's the first time you saw your father in a TV set, and you're like, that's a moment of magic,
Got it.
So it's that moment of wonder. We want to bring it back, and then your logical mind kicks in, and you go, how,
It's just like the card that ended up in the back pocket until today. How did he do it?
So it's I think to me the audience is paramount.
Got it. So
Absolutely
it's
paramount.
all about serving the audience,
Yeah.
giving them that moment of wonder. So it doesn't matter what show you're doing.
It doesn't
most
matter the
important
show,
thing
it
is
doesn't
getting
matter
that.
the client, it doesn't
Got
matter
it.
the brand, anything, to me,
All right.
personally. Though I'm working with the brand and I know I need to make the brand the hero, but at the end of the day, if the audience is, like for example, when we did Pampers, when we launched new Pampers,
Your Pampers also got a day.
yeah, those days, Ultra Pampers, right? I took a large jug and I poured in, this was at the trade show, I poured in all that stuff into the diaper. And after the show, during question and answer, one of the guys said, "You mean to say the diaper can take so much liquid?" You know, and, they said, and the brand manager goes, no, that was just a show lah, you know. So the fact that he actually believed that whole thing was like, good for me lah.
I did my job.
I did my job lah. You know, it stuck in his head. So it was good, yeah. So that sort of stuff. So at the end of the day, it's the audience takeaway.
All right. So
The memorability.
So segues to the next thing. Speaking of audience, right? I mean, there's something happening on the 29th, your show,
Yes.
right? And now that's something where I want to live with the moment. I want to leave the hall with a moment of magic and wonder lah.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about this show that's happening on the 29th.
Okay. Because of my history, everybody thinks it's going to be a grand illusion show. It is not. That's why in the advertising it says it's a new format.
Okay.
Yeah. I have scaled down the shows.
All right.
I want to do effects, stand-up effects. There will be a few illusions in the show, yeah, but stand-up effects, and the focus is more on me, the presentation, the script, the jokes, the laughter, the interaction with the audience.
Okay.
So it's actually a fun show. And you walk away, yeah, fun, but it was magic as well, Bo. And you will still go, how? That's good lah, you know. But the fact that you sat there and you enjoyed yourself for 45 or so minutes, that's what I want. Okay. So it's now trying to work towards that and trying to polish up the show, writing the script. I'm still struggling with the routining of the show. Yeah.
Hey, the show is happening soon, you know.
I know. This morning I was going like, I was asking my wife, where do we stick this one? She said in the middle. I said, yeah, it doesn't fit. You know, but I know the tricks that I'm going to do.
Okay. It's just the storyboarding of it.
I'm trying to, because it needs to flow.
Yeah.
You know, like I did a show recently, and I'm a great believer of the energy chart.
Okay.
Even your introduction by the MC is important, which is why I don't most of the time.
You MC yourself or what?
No. I give the guy a script and I say, you goreng lah one story about the next president. Don't mention my name and don't say magic show. Okay. Now the way I said magic show is what Malaysians will say. Magic show. Magic show immediately means, moso lah. You know? That's not what I do, you know. So I be very careful about this because I've been introduced in the weirdest ways. Ladies and gentlemen, magic show by Anslem Roy.
Anslem.
I've been called Anslem, Anslem, Einstein. Just yesterday I received. Before I die, I will print a T-shirt with all my names.
This is my name, bro.
And you have to go. It's Anslem, Lem. Asylum. In Singapore, I'm registered in a Chinese database as Ang Lem Loy.
Dude, you're kidding.
No. And I still get mail for Ang Lem Loy, Eric. So, you know, it is what it is.
Eric.
It's hilarious. So, so what I've done is I've gotten my introduction pre-recorded. So the MC just says, sit back, relax, you've got an exciting show from an international artist, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, here we go. And then, I come on. So that to me is very important because your introduction is good.
It sets it up.
And you hit your mark, and that's the other thing that we teach in our club. When you get from backstage to the mark, that first 2 seconds is when the audience knows whether you're pro or not. So you hit the mark, you turn around, you look at the audience, and you're ready to go. So that sets it up on a higher level. If you get bad introductions, you are here. If you get a good, you're here. So now we do the first few effects, you build it up, you cruise, let the audience breathe. Then you take it up to the next level. So this was a 40-minute show, which the client cut down to 25 because they overran. So which means that I only achieved here. Though the show was good, everybody was happy with it, I knew I missed.
You could have gone
I
more.
could have gone so much more. All the lines, all the, the anticipation, the videos and everything. So So the energy graph for me is very. So that's what I'm trying to in my show.
So we're going to drive this energy graph on the 29th, and
As much as I can.
okay. I mean,
It's a small theater. It's really a very small because it's experimental for me. I've never done a ticketed show in this country. Never. Usually I'm hired and the promoter pays or the client pays. I wanted to try
in
it
the
out
50 years. This is your first ticketed show in Malaysia.
in Malaysia.
Wow, dude.
Never. Because too many variables lah, you know. So a lot of my friends going like, you know, hey, you got show or not? I come and see lah, but no, sorry, corporate show cannot come in, you know. So this is my first ticketed show.
Got it.
So now it's open to the public. So come lah, see the show, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, man.
So it's a small theater. I didn't want to spend too much money in case the whole thing imploded. So we're squeezing in 2 shows in that one evening. And we'll see if it works. I've already got shows for a year already planned out. 4
So
shows.
this is kind of like a pilot, a concept test to see where it goes.
Yeah,
right?
whether it works or not, and then I will decide the frequency of the shows, and then maybe look at a bigger theater if the response is good.
Okay.
And you know, Malaysians are always wait till the last minute to buy the tickets. You know, so it's like we're almost. I think we're almost. Over 50% sold out
Oh, that's nice, dude.
already now. Yeah, it's about a week and a half of marketing.
Okay. By the time this airs, we'll have another week plus. You know.
So
go online.
early bird tickets. You know, early bird ticket sales closes on the 15th. Then after that, it's just back to regular pricing. Yeah.
All right, and like I mentioned, guys, 1 ticket out there for any one of you, right? Just comment on YouTube, on Instagram, or just drop us an email, right? And just tell us why should we go watch. What you said? Anslem. Why? Anslem. Why should
Oh
you?
my God! I opened a can of worms now.
Anslem Roy's show. So what's the Singapore one again?
Anglem Loy.
Eric.
Yeah, Anglem Loy, Eric.
I tell you.
But it's funny. Yeah.
No, man, that's awesome. I mean, honestly, I'm excited for the show.
Great.
You know, me and my wife,
Yeah.
my missus.
Come.
I wanted to bring the kid, but you know, it's PG-12.
Yes.
Okay.
The reason is a lot of entendres in there.
Okay.
Suggestive stuff. It'll fly over the kids, but I don't want to risk it. Like,
I agree.
All it takes is just one negative report.
And you don't want that for your brand and
No.
for the future of the
Yes,
show.
correct.
Right.
I want to be known. See, a lot of people in this country, magic show, not my thing lah. It's still that magic show lah. You know, they don't realize it's adult entertainment.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
and,
so-
and here's the thing, you know, I started the show by, you know, talking about the fact that is the mysticism of magic gone? I mean, with people watching YouTube with short form content, right? Like, is that mysticism gone?
No.
So here's the thing, right? Imagine someone watching out there right now, you know, 11 years old from St. John, you know, want to send you a letter. Like, what advice would you give a budding illusionist or musician out there who wants to start the craft?
Musician, I don't know, magician, yeah.
That's what I meant. Well done. A budding illusionist or magician. Yeah. What advice would you give him or her?
I think you need to be dedicated. You need to have the discipline. I used to do classes for children.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah, I have a club that it's called the Magic Annex. But I always say that you need to be at least 12 years old and above to be able to appreciate magic. If you're too young, you have no concept of magic, because you could take a coin, put it in his hand, make it disappear. They will still look at this hand because this is where the coin was. They haven't put the link together. But we adults have you know, we've grown up to understand the way move works, the way the hand moves and all that. So we assume that the coin is there. Until you open the coin, I'll still be looking at that hand. When you open empty, now I'm looking at this hand. Too late already. Okay, the coin gone. So when you're too young, they say, "Oh no, my child is very intelligent."
All us parents say the same thing.
Correct. But to be able to see, to me, magic is the best hobby in the world. Really.
Okay.
Why? It forces you to think ahead. In the process of what you're doing physically, you're thinking ahead. As you walk into a room, you know where the people are. You know what your lighting is. You just learn to feel it. You learn about the trick. You learn confidence, because if you don't have confidence, you're messed up.
You can't land it.
Every time you perform a magic trick, it's a test. If you fail that test, the trick is gone. blown. Not just for this person, but blown for every other magician who may show the same trick. So the impetus is bigger than. Sorry, not the impetus. The impact is bigger than this.
Yep.
Then you want to do rhyme. You want rhythm. You need to know rhythm. You need to know timing. You need to know stage presence. You need to know how your body moves, how to use your body as part of the misdirection. Because for us, the 5 senses are what we play with. You know, it's how we manipulate the 5 senses to give you the misdirection that you need. So you learn all it, and then public speaking, all of that stuff. You know, so the kid develops really, really, really well-rounded, and then you need to learn arts and craft, build your own props, so this, that, yeah. Then you need to know about lighting, you need to know about clothes, you need to, all of that stuff. Which other hobby gives you that? You know, so to me, I'm biased, but magic is. I mean, like even when you say you're playing music, if you miss a note, it's okay.
But you can't do that with magic, dude.
You cannot. You it's gone. Finished. Bye bye.
If you miss the rabbit in the hat, alamak.
And that's it. You're done. So how do we get there? You're talking about.
No, we're talking about the advice that you want to give to these young kids.
I would say number one, you need to be serious about the interest.
Okay, serious.
Yeah. Kids, unfortunately, short attention span. Today I like magic. Tomorrow I want to do music. Third time I want to chase.
That sounds like my son, lah.
And I want to chase girls and do other things or whatever. And I always ask those who are in the appropriate age, why do you want to do magic? If I don't hear the word, I want to entertain people, I want to make people happy.
So that should be your motivator if you want to do it.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if your audience likes it, you're on the home stretch, man.
You're done, dude.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be anything. If you're an entertainer, that's what you need. I was telling you about when people give you their lives, in the time, if they can spend that X number of minutes watching you, they're giving you their life. They cannot get it back, and you need to respect that.
Agreed.
Yeah. So best advice: you need to be committed. Then of course there's discipline, practice. There are 3 rules in magic: practice some more, and then practice again.
The 4th one
is perfectly practiced.
I got it.
Yeah, so practice perfectly. So because if you practice the wrong way, your muscle memory goes haywire.
Yeah, so you got to do it for the right reasons. You got to be disciplined, and more importantly, practice.
Yeah. The right way.
The right way.
Yeah.
So we're talking about manipulating my 5 senses, lah, right?
Correct.
So is there any way in this show right now you're going to manipulate any of my senses?
No manipulation of senses, but I brought a little trick that I can share with you.
This one is real, This is real.
Okay, so 5 pieces of paper which I borrowed from him.
Yeah, it's from me, It's from me. It's from me.
It's not gapped. So I'm just going to write something here. Okay, and I'm not going to show you what it is. Okay, and I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to place it right here. Will not touch it again.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Cool.
So we have 4 pieces of paper here.
Okay.
I want you to give me any simple shape. Any simple shape. Go ahead.
Okay, circle.
A circle. Okay, that's one. Okay.
That's.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna crumple that up.
Okay.
Okay, a circle.
Square.
A square. And we haven't set this up, right?
No.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that everybody understands we need to set it up. I didn't buy him teh tarik. Okay, this one.
Triangle.
Triangle. Okay, and?
Okay, a pentagon, a 5-sider.
Oh gosh. Okay, if I can draw one.
Okay,
Right.
5 sides.
Okay, and then so put the pen away.
All right.
The obligatory nothing in my hands.
Sleeves rolled up.
Okay, so now, do you know which one is where of these 4?
Oh.
I just messed it up.
Yeah,
right?
I wouldn't really know.
Okay, take 2 fingers.
Okay.
And hover it over any 2 of these. Okay, so we'll remove this and remove. I won't put it here. I'll put it over here. Okay.
Okay.
Now, take your hands away. Take 1, put it in my hand, and whichever one. It's up to you.
Okay.
You can change your mind.
Okay.
You want to remove this, and that's the last one that he wants, right? Okay. Let's recap. Now, before we started, I wrote something on the piece of paper
Okay.
before we started. Right,
Okay.
we had no clue where we were going with this.
Okay.
And then I said, "Hey, give me some simple shapes." Free choice, right?
Yes, I could have chose anything.
You could have chosen anything in the world. You chose. And we wrote it down, and then you eliminated these one by one.
I did.
You did. Free choice, your choice. In fact, the last minute he
Yeah. I did that,
flippant. Open this and see what is inside.
You're kidding me, right?
No, just open it. See what's inside.
You are kidding me.
This thing can go wrong. Okay.
Okay, it's a triangle.
It's a triangle. Go ahead.
No.
I'm not even going to touch it.
No.
You pick it up. And
Okay, it's a triangle, huh?
Okay.
Don't do this to me, bro.
I hope it works.
You're kidding me, bro.
This is manipulating your senses.
So I just couldn't one con job lah. No, but that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I thought it was a simple trick,
Yeah.
and I didn't expect it to go the way it did. And guys, I changed. I saw he was looking. I changed. You still got it.
You had a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
that's what
this
you
is
did.
how you create basic organic stuff. No props, no nothing. And I like organic stuff, because if you're doing something with a prop that is obviously bought from a magic shop, that's why I don't like card tricks, but I like tricks with cards. A card. Who carries around a deck of cards? Either a magician or a gambler. That's it. You take out a deck of cards, people. This fellow must be skillful. I won't take it out now.
All right, hey, Anslem, thank you so much for
You're welcome.
making it for the show.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Really
I mean,
appreciate the time.
I really enjoyed learning about your journey and the fact that, it's all about entertaining others,
Yes.
going from where you were, St. John, all the way to, working in an advertising agency and doing your magic hustle on the side. What started as a hustle now is like, giving you so much of love and passion. And I'm looking forward to the show Unmasked on the 29th. Where?
At Seoul City Hub.
Okay, so guys.
That is in SS4.
All right, so let's say if we want people to connect with you, to find out more about you, your services, and more importantly, the show that's happening on 29th, how
Go
can we
to
connect
the
to you?
Facebook page.
Okay,
You can either go to Anslem Roy,
okay,
or the other page that I have is Magic and Illusion of Anslem Roy.
okay. I'm going to put all of that in the description. So
Great, thank you very much.
One more time, guys. You stand a chance to win one free ticket. All you got to do is
I
write
wish
a
I had more
comment.
to give away, but it's a small place.
It's a start. For all you know, when this show meletop, right? When we are in Stadium Merdeka, he can give more.
That's right. I can.
Alright,
I
so
will.
very simple, guys. All you got to do is head over to either the Instagram or YouTube where you're watching this, or even drop me an email at findtherealpodcast@gmail.com. Just tell me, why do you want to watch Anslem Roy's Magician Show Unmasked on the 29th?
Yep.
Right? Okay, thank you very
Cool.
much.
Thank you.
And guys, thank you for watching another episode of Find the Real, where I believe everyone has a story, and looking forward to see you in the next episode. Peace.
Peace out.